Hi, my name is Jim. I'm with Ultimate Mission. And what we're doing today is we're going to talk about stretching. Now, Ultimate Mission is a medical missionary training program. We teach people all over the world to go into their communities and do the best they can to help people that may have one problem or the other. Now, a lot of problems are with pain, and one of the ways to get rid of pain or to alleviate pain is to do some stretching to keep from having pain in the first place. So to run us through a stretching program and show us the best way and safest way to do it, we have Bert Logan here, who is a physical therapy doctor. He is going to help us understand the proper way to stretch. And then over here we have Christine. Now Christine is going to be kind of modeling some of the things Bert is talking about, and he will be teaching her, and so hopefully all of us will learn together. So here we go, Bert. What is so important about stretching?
Well, thank you, Jim. It's good to be here today. And yeah, stretching is super important for our bodies for a few reasons. It's going to help keep us flexible. It's also going to help keep us strong. It helps us in our balance. And it also helps us with keeping our circulation going.
Really?
So, absolutely. So doing all of those things will help improve that part of your body. Yeah.
Well, circulation, I mean, that's everything to your health. I mean,
Absolutely.
So I didn't understand stretching helped with your circulation.
Yeah.
And I can always use more balance, okay?
Yeah.
So wonderful. I learned something new already.
I know,
Here we
right?
go. Yeah.
So it's amazing what stretching can do for us.
Amazing, yeah.
So just some tips, if I can share, before we get into stretching. So you really want to stretch your body at least 5 to 10 minutes every day is kind of ideal. And also, you don't want to start stretching on a cold body, right?
Okay.
We talked about circulation, so you want to get those muscles kind of warmed up before you start stretching them.
Okay.
And one way that you can do that is to go for a brisk walk, right? Even if it's just for 5 minutes. That's going to get that circulation going and preparation for the muscles to start the stretching.
So walk before you stretch.
Right.
I would always think I'd stretch first. But
I know,
no.
right?
Yeah.
It's just the opposite.
Wow.
Go for
Okay.
a little bit of a walk.
All right.
Exactly. The other thing that you want to do when you're stretching is don't hold your breath. A lot of us do that when we exercise, right? Or stretch, we're like that, and your face is turning red. You don't want that. So you want to be breathing nice and even, slowly. You don't want to hyperventilate, but keep breathing when you're stretching. All right? The other thing that you want to remember to do when you're stretching is to hold the stretch for about 15 to 20 seconds, okay? And we'll demonstrate this on one of the stretches, but you don't want to be balancing the stretch. So for example, with my biceps here, if I'm stretching out like this, I don't want to be going like that, right? Because that will potentially damage my biceps
okay.
and tear the muscle. So you want to think a slow, prolonged stretch, okay? Slower is always better whenever you're stretching. Just think slow versus fast. Okay?
15 to 20 seconds. I don't think I hold it that long. I think I count to 10, and I probably count to 10 really fast. So I'm wanting to go 1 alligator, 2 alligator, 3 alligator. Okay.
Exactly.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you know what, the other cool thing with stretching is that, especially if you have a tight muscle, if you can only get so far in the stretch initially, the longer you hold that, so if you hold it for 15 seconds, 20 seconds, over time you should be able to get a little bit more range of motion. Okay, so that's the other benefit of the prolonged stretch. And the other thing to remember too when you're stretching, and we'll demonstrate this, is you want to stay balanced. So if you're, for example, stretching your quad muscle here, the counter to your quad is your hamstring in the back of your leg. Okay, so you would start by stretching quadriceps, and then do your hamstrings. Same thing with the arm, right? You have your biceps muscle here, you're stretching that, then you would go and stretch your triceps on the back. So that way you have balance between the muscles. Yeah.
And I do that before I went to the other leg or the other arm?
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Okay.
that would be
Yeah.
fine to do that before
Okay.
you go to the other arm. The other thing when you're stretching is only go to the point of mild discomfort. Okay. So it's okay to feel, a stretch should be a little bit uncomfortable, but if it's painful, then you know you've gone too far.
Oh, okay.
So in this case, the phrase
No pain, no gain,
does
right?
not apply to stretching.
Wow, because I always thought it did. I
No.
mean, I would just be going, but no, that's
Because then
not
you're
right.
you're potentially damaging the muscles and tearing fibers.
Okay, yeah.
So slower is better on your stretches.
And don't make it hurt.
Don't make her hurt.
I like that. I mean, I don't like pain, right?
So you like stretching even more now, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So those are some basic tips on stretching. Any questions about that before we get into some stretches? No? Okay. So we're going to start kind of at our neck and then kind of work all the way down to our bodies here. And so I'm going to do a stretch, and Christine, if you can kind of model for me, all right? So we'll start with the neck, right? A lot of us get really, really tight in our neck. Our upper trapezius, that's this muscle right here. So kind of just a good stretch to start with the head is just looking up, right? So looking back and then looking down, okay? And you just go as far as you can, all right?
Try to touch your chin to your chest.
Yeah, bringing the chin into the chest, exactly. And then back up. So for the purposes of this video, I have to apologize. We're probably going to go through these we are going to go through them much quicker than we normally would.
Right.
So just remember, try and hold that stretch normally.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fine.
10.
Nobody wants to watch this thing for,
Exactly.
for 30 minutes.
Right. And so then another good stretch for the neck would be just a rotation, so side to side. So it's kind of like you're looking over your shoulder, okay? Trying to get that, yep. And that gets all those nice neck muscles. You can see them, right? Yep. Okay. And then the other one that you can do is a side bending, and you can use your hand on your head to bring your ear down to your shoulder. And if you're doing that correctly, Christine, you'll feel a stretch. You feel the stretch on the side of your neck? Yeah. I really like that one.
And don't do it till it hurts.
Yeah.
Bad.
Exactly.
It can hurt just a little bit.
Kind of like
it
a
just-
tightness,
Yeah, I think that's good. Tightness is fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
just not pain.
exactly.
Okay.
Right.
We can do without pain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a good, good head and neck stretches. So let's move on here. So let's talk about our deltoid muscle. So that's this kind of big muscle on your shoulder, right? So there's three parts to your deltoid. You got this front part, that's the anterior, and then you got the side, and then you got the back of the deltoid, that's your posterior. And there's a few different ways of stretching that. So to get the back side here, you're just going to bring your elbow up like this, and then this other hand, you're pulling like that. And if you're feeling it correctly, you'll feel a stretch like right in there. Okay, so you're using your other arm to pull. Ooh, that feels good, Jim. All right. And actually, I like to go side to side on that. So you're just kind of equal, right? There we go. All right. And then to get the kind of the middle part of the deltoid, you're putting your arms like this, okay? And then you're kind of coming back this way. So you're getting that.
And so you're
inside.
pulling it up yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I've seen where people are behind you pulling it up. Do you recommend anything like that? Or?
So you could do that if
Okay.
you wanted to get even more of a stretch, but
Right.
you would be checking in with Christine, saying, you know, how you doing?
Right.
Let me know if I'm going, if this is hurting, so that you can
Right,
back off
yeah.
if it's too much.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's middle deltoid, just going up. All right. And then the front part of your deltoid, a good way of stretching that, and I know we don't have a good wall for you, Christine, but pretend this is a wall here, and you're putting your hand against the side of a wall, and then you're kind of turning like this. So my body, so see if my body's like this, and I'm turning away. And that's getting this part of the deltoid.
So if you're doing this along with the video, you can pause the video and count to 15 or 20.
Yeah, there you go.
And then start the video up again. So
Right.
yeah.
Exactly. Good. I like that. So that's your deltoids. And then we have biceps, triceps. So here's your bicep muscle, right? Triceps is on the back part of the arm. And a good stretch for that, well, we kind of already did that with the deltoids. You can also do this for biceps, okay? Because that's pulling that muscle out there.
Is that the same thing? I mean, so is there any type of hand position as you do that? I mean,
well,
when you grab it behind?
No, it's just clasping.
It's just clasping?
It's just
Okay,
clasping
all
the
right,
hands.
all right.
Yeah, and then you can also do that. Well, we don't have a good wall, but yeah, you can stand up against a wall like this.
Put your hands flat against
and
the wall.
Put your hands flat against a wall, right? And that's
okay.
as long as the idea is to straighten out the elbow, and that's stretching your biceps muscle.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so let's talk about triceps. So that's this muscle back here. So putting one arm like that. Actually, I'm going to go like this. It's kind of hard. And then using this hand to pull. All right. So you should feel a stretch all back there. You feel that? Yeah. The other way you can do that, see if I can do it. You probably can do this better than I. Is going like this.
So you're grabbing your hand behind your back, yeah.
And pulling.
So, hey, I've heard a towel works if you can't quite reach up high enough.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it up. That's a great idea, and we actually have a towel, so let me grab that so that we can demonstrate. So this is kind of a shorter towel. A longer one might be better, but this still can work. So I'll demonstrate, and Christine, have you do it too. So it's just putting the towel like this, okay? And then I'm
using that instead of, because you can't quite reach your hand. You don't have that.
So what I'm
that
doing,
range of motion.
this lower hand, I'm pulling this down. Can you see that, Christine?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Here.
that's interesting. I would have thought you
that out.
pulled with your upper hand, but you pull with your lower hand.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Because we're stretching
That muscle.
triceps. Yep.
And it's
So pulling-
easier to do than trying to connect your hands.
Your
touch
hands,
to
exactly.
the back.
Even for you,
Yeah.
So, good to know.
As flexible as you are.
Your forearm muscles. So that's all these muscles in here, and that's important to stretch those out too, right? So you can do that a couple of ways. Putting your arm out and then using your other hand to kind of pull back. And you should feel that right there. You feel that? Feels pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah. And again, just holding that good 15, 20 seconds. And then, doing the opposite. So coming down this way.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll feel the top part of your arm. I like stretching. It feels good. I don't do it. I'll confess, you guys, I don't do it enough myself. True confessions from a physical therapist. That's a video of its own, right?
So how often should we be doing these stretches?
Well,
I mean, ideally, in a perfect world.
In a perfect world, I would say we should be stretching every day, 5 to 10 minutes.
All of these stretches we're doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is going to help our circulation and our balance.
And our balance, your flexibility, and the more flexible are, the less chance you have of falling,
having an injury,
having injuries overall. Yeah. So you really want to incorporate it into your daily
exercise
workout.
routine.
A lot of people, their exercise maybe includes aerobic, like I'm going to go for a run or a bicycle, or I'm going to go lift weights, right? But what do people leave out usually?
Stretching.
Stretching.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm raising my hand on that one too.
Me too.
I'm culprit, so I'm preaching to myself, you guys. So the other way you can do that forearm stretch is, going like this. You can feel that like here, or you can put it on a table is another way, getting a good stretch, leaning in, or going like that. So, nice job. Hand also gets, that's another way you can do hand. I should say forearm is also your wrist.
Okay, just keeping your arm bent. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. instead of the
Yep.
straight out.
I'm sorry, say it again?
Well, we did the one with the straight out.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this one, you kind of got your arm bent. Is there a difference? Is it,
No, it's
Yeah.
pretty similar,
Okay.
I would say, as
All
long
right.
as you're bending the
Okay.
wrist there.
all right.
Yeah, and then your fingers, so opening and closing those hands. Yeah.
And so you just doing it and pulling, feeling those muscles pull,
Yep.
and then opening your hands as far as you can.
As far as you can. Yeah.
So you're doing this slowly, this opening and closing. So does the 15, 20 seconds come in on this stretch, or just?
No, I would just say continuous on this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And-
Just slowly.
Right.
Okay.
Unless you have a hand, we talked about on another video, like a stroke patient that maybe has a contracture,
Right.
that they can't do that motion, then you're kind of helping them, right, do that
And a
stretch.
contracture. What is a contracture?
Contracture is just a tightening of the muscles.
So so a stroke victim's hands all the way in.
Yeah,
Then.
it just
Okay.
means, right, all of those muscles, they have
Contracted.
Yeah, they have tightened is probably
Okay.
the layman's term for that.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So you're trying to help.
And I
stretch
need the
those-
layman's term.
Nope, I understand exactly. Thank you for helping me out there. So yeah, it's just slowly stretching out.
Oh, okay.
Right.
All right.
Yep. Okay, so that's hand. Let's see. Let's move on to our legs, and let's talk about our hips and quads. So hip joints right here, right? We got a bunch of muscles in the front part of the hip, as well as your quad muscle. That's a big muscle right here. So a couple of ways you can do that is if you're close to a table for support. So standing here and then bringing one leg up and pulling your foot kind of towards your bottom, right? So, and up. And if you're doing that correctly, Christine, you'll feel a nice pull.
I can feel it right.
Yep, from here kind of down towards the
Yeah.
knee. Yep. So that's one way of stretching quads, right? You can also do this lying down. You want to try that, lying down? So we'll have you facing that way,
On my back.
on your tummy, looking that direction so that people can see. And then, so it's just pulling one, yep, putting your hand there, and yep. So if you'd rather do this lying down on the floor, on a bed, that's how you, and you're still feeling the stretch
Yeah.
in the quads? Yep. You
And
got
that
it.
may be a safer way for a person that has limited mobility or has balance issues or falling
Thank you.
issues.
Very, very good point.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. If you're feeling unsafe, do it on the floor or on a bed. Right. Or someone older like myself. That's why I was holding onto the table, Jim, was
Right.
because of balance, right? And making sure I'm not, going to be wobbly and fall over.
Right.
So thank
Yeah.
you for pointing that out. The other way that you could do that stretch, if you have pretty good balance, is kind of a lunge like this, all right? So when you're doing that, you have one knee bent, the other leg is straight. So yeah, your right leg should be straight, and you should feel that, Christine, like I could feel it right here at the top of my hip. So that gets you a really good hip stretch, and that's super good, you guys, for people who sit a lot or maybe more sedentary, people who are office jobs, computer work or whatever, right? That person who maybe isn't walking a lot or has been, they're in a wheelchair and they need, well, if they're in a wheelchair, they're probably not going to be able to do that stretch. That stretch is more for, the computer person or their runner. But just to give you guys some other ideas. Questions about that one?
No,
Okay.
is that it now? The hamstring, does that, or is that?
Yep, we're
oh,
going- we're-
okay.
that's where
We're
going to
I'm
hams.
getting ahead of you.
No,
aren't I? Sorry
that's
about that.
exactly where we're going.
Okay.
So hamstrings, there's a few different ways you can stretch hamstrings. If you are a more limber young person like Christine, you can use a table. So just putting your heel up, right? And then just kind of leaning in. And if you're doing it correctly, you're going to feel that like right here, starting under your bottom, all the way down to at least your knee, and you might feel it even lower down towards your ankle. So just leaning in.
Now this is a
Okay.
good stretch for lower back problems, correct?
It is, absolutely. Yep.
Because those hamstrings, when they're tight, pulls at the muscles
It
in your
pulls
lower
on the
back.
low back,
Right.
exactly.
Okay.
Right. So if you're having low back problems, a hamstring stretch.
Now
is
you
something.
you can also do a hamstring stretch from sitting in a chair too, right? So you can sit in a chair
Yep.
and just point your
So-
toe up and reach down towards
Right.
your toe.
If you're sitting in the chair, make sure your leg is straight and then lean down towards that ankle. Yep. The other way you can do that stretch is on the floor or on the bed. So Christine, if you want to maybe sit facing the camera that way, legs straight, and then you're just reaching down towards your ankles, and that's getting a stretch on your hamstrings and low back. You feel that? Yeah. The other way you can do that, I don't know if you can see the picture there, bending one on that right picture.
like this?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, this one almost gives you kind of a stretch in your other hip also.
I was just going to point out you're stretching your hip muscles on the right.
Yeah.
There. Yeah, we call those the hip rotator muscles. So you get 2 for 1 on that stretch.
Yeah.
So this is now. So can you do a hamstring stretch from a bed? From a table like this, what you just did.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that is, that's another safe way to do it.
You can,
for
but
somebody.
what I would say to that is you really don't want to do it on a bed that's super soft.
Okay.
You really want more of like a firm bed, or this is obviously a firm surface here, or the floor.
Okay.
Your body's going to do better with firm surface.
Many of us get on the floor, we're not going to get back up. So,
Yeah.
so a chair is probably a good place to do a hamstring
Exactly.
stretch for somebody that is.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. And then the last stretch we'll talk about is just your calf muscle. So that's the muscle back here, right? Back part of your leg. There's a couple ways you can do that. If you're standing against a wall, we'll pretend this is a wall. You're just leaning in, and so the calf muscle that you're stretching, you want to keep. Yeah. So perfect technique there, Christine. Your right leg is straight, and your heel's on the floor. And then you're leaning in towards the table, and you should feel a stretch back here. Do you feel that? So the key is, right, keeping the whole leg straight, heel is touching the floor to get that stretch. The other way you can do that, we don't have a really good visual here, but if you have stairs in your house, you can stand on the edge of a step and drop, like here's the step. This is your heel, and you would drop down like that. That's going to stretch the calf muscle out. Now, if you do that, you want to make sure that you're holding on to like a handrail. You're not going to slip off.
Okay.
So that's your basic calf stretch. And so that kind of takes you through all of the muscles, major muscles of the body, Jim.
Okay, good.
For a good stretching program.
So ideally, we stretch once a day.
Once
We
a
go
day.
through this once a day.
Absolutely.
So, okay, well, hey, this is good. Our bodies are fearfully and wonderfully created by God, and
Absolutely.
we're trying to find out how to keep them fully mobile. I mean,
Right.
be able to work at their peak performance.
Yep.
So in order for your body to work at its peak performance,
Stretch.
stretch.
Every
All
day.
right. Well, thank you, and we have many more videos like this. Please feel free to watch them. And if you like this and you'd like to know more about what we're doing, just hit the subscribe button right there, and maybe even the bell, so you can be informed when our next new video comes out. So thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and God bless. We would love for you to be a part of our Ultimate Mission family. Please subscribe to our channel, watch our videos, like and share our videos, donate if you would like. Let's work together to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ to the world.